Hi folks, this is beginning of chapter 4. We're getting into the structure, beginning of chapter 4, part 1. This chapter 4 and chapter 5 is a significant chapter that we will be dealing with when we get into a lot of the control structure with it. In this chapter, I'm going to be covering a lot of the key important things with you. This is, again, it's basically it's one of the things that programming is made up of decision structures. Up to this point, from chapter 2 and 3, it's all top-down design. You basically hard code all the codes that actually are in the memory with it, which is not a very practical of doing this. Chapter 3 is all the input-output that I cover with you. Please understand Chapter 3. We're pretty good with it. Chapter 4 now gets into a lot of interactive stuff that you are probably heard of and familiar with some of the terms that we use as our pretest loops, are your if loops, else loops, your while loops. That's what's going to be covered in this chapter with you. So if you could please, again, read your chapter 4. There's a lot of things that's covered in here with chapter 4 that's, I can't cover it all through the lecture notes with this, but I want to highlight all the key points in this stuff. If you come down here and take a look at the things I'm going to be covering with you, control structures. Most textbooks they have a chapter that purely what's called either decision structures or control structures with it. In this chapter, it's important for you to understand what's relational and logical operators, and these are the two things that you're going to see that's repeated over and over, and the reasoning and the logic why we use logical operators in here. I want to talk to you about how you evaluate to form the evaluation of a Boolean expression with it. And as we come across here, I want to try to see if I can actually approach you to understand a lot of the flow charts and things that actually takes place in programming. This is where the art side of the programming comes in. There's different ways of doing this. The key thing is when you write control structure is to keep it clean and to keep it simple to understand. Very important with that. So keep it clean, keep it simple. Best practice is to indent in, block in some of the stuff that you're going to see. The first control structure I want to talk to you about is the sequence. You've done a lot of the sequence up to this point. It's step by step with it, okay? And then you basically execute from top to bottom with these programming code that you have right now. You allocate the memory, you do something with that calculation of that memory, and then you output it to the screen. That's what you've been doing for chapter 2 and chapter 3 up to this point. Two of the most common control structure are selections and repetitions. You're going to see where I get into some repetition on reading external files and until some false record comes across it. Okay, we're going to talk about the selection first. So this is the three types of structure I would like for you to know. The first one is the sequence. Alright, this is what you've been doing from chapter 2 and 3. Okay, statement 1, statement 2, very top-down driven with this thing. In chapter 4, we start with the selection. Okay, and the selection, and represented by here are what you're traditionally known as your flow charts with it. And I would like for you to start thinking about how you do the flow charts. This is beyond the scope of this class. You should have known a little bit about flow charts. It's not only take about 5-10 minutes. All it is. A circle represents the beginning and ending. The square or rectangle that you see here is mainly what's called processing with it. Anywhere that you see the expression that's actually a diamond shape in this case is a decision, whether it's true or false, whether it is zeros and ones with it. And there's one more shape that you don't see here, is a kind of like a rhomboid shape, okay, like a little rhomboid shape, a little parallelogram. You can still think of it. That's about processing, that you can process data with that. But at this point right now, I want to address three types of structure that you're going to see. In this chapter, we're dealing with selection. Okay, So there are going to be a lot of stuff that we're going to talk about. It's the expression is true or false, and to make that decision, the fork in the road, to come to another conclusion with it. Coming down here, let me talk to you about the relation operators. Relation operators are conditional statements only execute if certain conditions are met. So what does that mean? So it has to be true before you can actually execute it. If it's false, you don't execute it at all. You just skip over and write over to the next statement with it. That's what it means. It's executing if a certain condition are met, meaning if it's true. In this case, that you're going to see is the conditional representations by the logic boolean with this thing. So it's either going to be true or false. Relational operators, remember now, relational operators. We're looking at relational operators, not relational, not logical operators is my point. So the relation operator always compares between the two operands with and evaluates it to either true or false. These are your list of things as the operators. And it's important that you know this. This is very important with it. So an operator is equal. What does that mean? You're basically giving an equal to it. Not equal, okay, is not equal with this particular symbol that you have. There's an explanation and equal with it. Less than or equal to, greater than or equal to. Let's take, for example, some of these data types that you're looking. Okay, what you need to realize is it's the outcome. What is the outcome of this particular evaluation that you're doing? So you're looking at evaluation of 8 less than 5, true. 6 is not equal to 6, outcome is false. This is a false statement. 2.5 greater than 5.8, which is a false. This is a true statement. So again, it's one of those things that we all went through some sort of grade school math that they taught us this from 4th grade, and it stays in our system with it as well. Comparing the character, this is very important. This is very important, how you look at character with it. In the back of your book, if you look at the ASCII table, I believe it's Appendix B, I'm sorry. It's on page, my 6th edition book, I believe it's Appendix B, and give me a second here, I'll tell you where it is.